You are now watching Lesage, the best place to learn about competitive Pokemon TCG. Let's get it! Yo, what's poppin' peeps? Welcome back to the channel. Lesage here. Yo, we got our hat backwards on today because we're ready to play some Pokemon. Let's get it. Today we're going to be covering over Blaziken VMAX with Vaporeon VMAX. When I first saw this deck at my late night series event played by Cole Lewis, I was like, what is this? But then after thinking about it a little bit more, it seems like it's an awesome deck. So shout out to Cole Lewis for coming up with this concept or playing this concept. Either or, gotta give credit where it's due, and we're gonna be covering over exactly what I think of this deck, playing through it, explaining the cards, all that good stuff. If you like this crazy combo, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments below what you think of. They call this deck Wet n Wilds. I just went with the normal Blaziken Zora, but we're going to jump into the deck profile and see exactly what's going on. So jumping into this deck, you can see it's a Blaziken deck. Blaziken's a card that doesn't often get featured, but it is featured heavily in this deck because it is a rapid strike based deck. You got the Blaziken, you got the Zeraora, you have the Octillery, and you have the Vaporeon. So that's really what these cards have in common beyond being different types. So kind of a new age take on a Sylveon deck. Without the Sylveon, obviously. So the goal of this deck is to use Max Blaze 130, hit things for 130, and then you could finish things off with Max Torrent. You can get the energies back with the Max Blaze because it does accelerate energies to the bench, and you have Vaporeon VMAX to do extra damage. So that's where 130 plus 200 damage is enough to knock out most VMAX Pokemon. You also have access, once you have attack with Max Torrent, you could attack with CrossFit, or after Max Blaze, Zeraora V is a great sweeper to steal some prize cards at the end. Now you might be like, okay, whatever, cool, that's like a 1-2 punch deck with two different VMAX Pokemon. Well, you can search through all of your Rapid Strike cards with the Octillery to make sure that you're all good there. So you can see that the Octillery can search at any Rapid Strike cards. The big kicker here is this deck is heavily featured on healing cards. So you got Hyper Potion, you could discard 2 energy. If that would be a Rapid Strike, you can get it back with Max Blaze. And you can kind of chain things so your opponent doesn't really ever do damage. You also have 4 copies of the Cheryl. So Cheryl allows you to just heal, Max Blaze, get that energy back, attach it to someone else. So your deck can quickly become overwhelming to your opponent. Of course, you have the backbone of Cinccino to draw cards with Make Do. Pretty simple for the rest of the things. You're just going to be trying to get set up, but you have access to attack with Blaziken and Vaporeon and Zeraora over and over again, and using Cheryl to really heal and Hyper Potion to really heal. So let's jump into some gameplay, see exactly what this deck can actually do, because it's a lot more fun to show it than say it. So our opponent here is calling the coin flip. Fingers crossed that we are going to win it. Yo, let's go. That's fire. Let's go first. Going first, obviously, is going to be incredibly important in this matchup. We started with the Zeraora. Not necessarily the greatest start, but we'll see exactly if we can get out a Pokemon. Blaziken, to me, seems like a great start. Let's go Quick Ball away Path, because I know we're not going to use Path against Dragapult. I find like I play against Dragapult so often. Let's go Blaziken, because we do want to get set up. And let's go attach an energy to the Blaziken. Hello. Okay, there we go. And let's go ahead and Vaporeon V goes down. Let's pass. So PTCGO obviously just giving me an extra like second to think what's going on there. Maybe they're just going to go ahead and go Bite. Marty would be fine. Every list is playing Crushing Hammers. Luckily, we can get them back with Blaziken VMAX and attach them to our other Pokemon, so it's kind of cool. It's a good matchup to play against. Depending on what we draw into, we're going to have to... Oh, they brought it up for us. Cool. We no longer need to get out of the active spot. Our opponent really helped us there a lot. Thank you so much, Bugmaster. If you're watching this video, I truly appreciate it. I personally would have not brought up the Blaziken because I know that I'm looking for a way to get in and out of the active spot, but really helps out as long as I can get a Blaziken VMAX. We're going to put the Minccino down, get set up there. They don't have too much in their hand, but they probably have access to Drizzile. Not playing Birdkeeper now. We have access to Professor's Research. So the issue here is that we do not have access to our Rapid Strike energy. So that sucks for us, but we're going to go ahead here and pass. So missing an energy is tough, But you want to know what? We might be able to follow it up with like a Cheryl, or maybe they'll hit us, or maybe something. We'll have to see exactly what's going on. They're probably going to get a Professor's Research out this turn, if I've ever seen one, unless they have one in their hand already. That to me screams like they have Professor's Research. Also, we're staying caffeinated with iced Americano today. Cheers to to this wonderful video. Okay, cool. Okay, now they're going to be using Drizzile for a Professor's Research. I mean, it makes sense. Personally, I'll take a Marnie any day. But yeah, they're going to go ahead with the Research. That's cool. That's cool. Let's see them pitch it all away. If they get an Energy, that's, yeah. It's going to be a little tough for us to deal with, but that's okay. Good thing the Minccino has 70 HP. Okay, they're just going to knock it out. And we're just stuck to kind of like poorly drawing again. Ugh. It's one of those things, these Dragapult decks can be so sneaky even though we have a great strategy against them. So let's see what we can do now. I'd like to get a Cheryl out this turn instead of attacking. Really the next card? Really the next card? Let's go ahead here and go Blaziken VMAX. I almost feel like we have to attack with this one. That's the sad part, is that we have to attack with this one, and hopefully they don't deal with the other Zeraora or anything else like that, because there's nothing else that we can do in this particular matchup. So let's go ahead here and Marnie. I don't want to play the other Evolution Incense. And we are going to put the Remoraid down. I think that seems pretty important if you ask me. So let's go. Remoraid goes down. Let's go for Max Blaze. It sucks. We are going to take those damage counters. And let's grab our energies. The only energy that we have is going to go to the Vaporeon, because 130 plus hitting for 200 certainly is the play. So now their Max Phantom is in range of just knocking us out. So we just don't have... when they knocked out the Cinccino, we don't have access to getting out a Dragapult, or we don't have access to getting out a Cheryl, sorry. We don't have access to a lot of things. So we're in a really tough spot because our opponent had a great start with their deck, and we missed that one turn. We were one card off, but that's all it takes sometimes in Pokemon. So when I joke around and say things like Suicune's fleet-footed ability could literally be the one card difference, that one card was the difference between us winning this game very easily or us being in the struggling position. So you got to think about it. It's word for thought. Food for thought, word for thought. I'm not entirely sure which one is the right one for this one. That being said, our opponent going for the Inteleon, I'm not entirely sure. Are they just going to go really for the Marnie play here? I think that's fine for us, to be honest. If they place the damage on the Vaporeon, they definitely know what they're doing here. If they do not, I think we're in a really good spot. We kind of want them to like half focus the damage counters on our Pokemon that are evolution, so we could Cheryl it off, and the other half of us wants to just like see exactly what's going on. If they do go Crushing Hammer, we are in a terrible position. I believe so, at least. No! Double Tails, please! Incoming Double Tails! Of course it had to be a heads. So Crushing Hammer, as much as we are a Crushing Hammer deck, or a deck that can deal with Crushing Hammer because of Max Blaze, I should say, it is difficult for us to deal with. We do have access to Cheryl, so we can go ahead and, depending on who they hit, they should hit the Zeraora V if they know what they're doing in this matchup. Yep. So we're probably in super danger, because we can't heal this Pokemon. It's not an evolution Pokemon. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Let's go ahead here and get this set up. Attached there. Let's go Karina's Focus. We can Hyper Potion the damage off, so let's keep that in mind. Let's go for... oh, actually, yeah, we could put that down. That seems fine. Let's go for Max Blaze. We're going to take some damage. I don't like it. And let's go ahead and power up these two Pokemon. If we have at least 2 energies, we can heal the Zeraora, and we have access to Cheryl. So that's really where the game plan's coming here. And depending on how they get set up, we might be in an okay spot. We do have to be careful with what our opponent can do. We don't necessarily have the strongest hands and we don't really have a great response to anything that they can do. So maybe the Blaziken VMAX, even though the deck is like working and we're having everything set up, they're crushing hammerheads and just missing cards here and there is really what's hurting this deck. So maybe while I'm playing this deck is, it seems powerful, it seems interesting, it also seems very much like a clump of cards together. Like there's a VMAX, a Blaziken VMAX, a Vaporeon VMAX, a Cinccino line, an Octillery line, and as much as two of those are associated to consistency, this deck can still just have the wrong pieces at the wrong times, or the right pieces at the wrong times and stuff like that. So I think it might be worse than I originally thought, is kind of my thoughts as I'm forming it throughout playing this deck. Of course, when it sets up, it's going to be that whole like Cheryl, heal, heal, heal. We'll have to see exactly what's going on here. Marnie, no. I was gonna say, if you got one more crushing hammerhead Bugmaster Pokemon, that'd be a yikes. That'd be a yikes. Nice. That really sucks for us. But we can heal some damage off it. That's something that should be said. The issue is if they just get boss and knock out a Remoraid and knock out a Minccino, we lose the game. So that's really where we're going to struggle a lot here. But let's go for Tower of Waters goes into play. We can go ahead here and go Hyper Potion. We're going to heal this Pokemon. Let's go ahead here, retreat, send this up. Let's attach an energy to it just in case, and let's go for Max Blaze. We can get the energy back, and we could power this Pokemon up. So again, we could lose the game the following turn. I don't think we're in a very good spot, but we're also not in the worst spot ever. We have access to Cheryl. We have access to other attacks. The thing that scares me the most is that we are running low on potential resources. So things like, the thing that we're running like that's really tough for us to deal with is if our opponent gets a boss's orders, they win the game by knocking out a Remoraid and knocking out a Minccino. So we have too many of these Pokemon down. That might be my fault from overbenching a little bit. But at the time, it's just like we have to get things to evolve. They can knock things out. We could go down to one prize card, etc., 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 etc. Now, depending on what our opponent has going on, I mean, they've gone through two boss's orders, so they might not have boss's orders for the rest of the game. They might not get a Crushing Hammers for the rest of the game. We might be able to Cheryl loop them and put them in a really tough situation, right? And I think that's what we're looking at. Now, they might just be able to attack with Dragapult VMAX twice and maybe just knock out some of our Pokemon. They're like they're one damage counter off from winning this game. So depending on how this plays out or what we top deck, we're either in trouble or not. So we'll have to see how that goes. We'd be off like by one attack pretty much. And that one attack is like based off our opponent getting a Crushing Hammerheads, us missing an energy, us missing resources. So I can see how this deck can jump back. Just seems like relatively unfortunate. It's weird that they're hitting the damage counter there. Where are they going to put their damage counters is the big question. That makes it really tough for us, actually. But we can get double Cinccino out. That's the big thing. So you want to what? Let's go ahead and go... If we go Cheryl, Cheryl does nothing for us. Because we just got attacked again and they win the game. This puts us in a closer position where we don't necessarily just lose. We have access to free retreat as well. So let's go for... I mean, I could put down Blaziken. I don't see an issue not to put down Blaziken. Let's go ahead and go research. So we did not get Minccino. Unfortunately, we could attack, but we are not going to be able to win the game at this point. We couldn't even attack with that because we didn't even have the Spiral Energy. So we are completely out of resources, completely out of options. We're going to give our opponent the well played. We fell a little bit short, but that's okay. They played very well this game. So congrats to our opponents for winning this matchup. I think this deck has a lot of stuff going on, and even just like things like it does require skill because you got to understand like what energies you have. Like this looks like I should be able to attack with the Rapid Strike energy there, with the Spiral energy. Like it might be more difficult to get set up than we originally thought. So I think this is really one of those tough calls. It seems like our opponent's just going to play it out, so we'll just go ahead and concede for them. So great job to our opponent again. Tough breaks for us. Well, that's what we got going on for this video today, peeps. After playing around with Cole Lewis's deck, I can say that I'm personally not a fan of this deck. I might need to give it another try here or there, or tinker with it myself. I feel like a lot of the cards, like, you need to hit very key cards at key times, and things like Crushing Hammer, although it shouldn't affect you too much because of Blaziken's max blaze attack, you might not necessarily be able to get the Rapid Strike energy because they knocked out a Remoraid. So the deck seems very delicate, relatively difficult to play, and it's semi-well positioned. So keep that in mind if you want to try something out that's fun and new, but I'd rather stick to Single Strike or Sylveon or Dragapult myself. That being said, if you did like this video or if you like this cool idea, give this video a thumbs up like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments below what you think about this deck. That being said, I'll catch up with everyone later. Have a wonderful day. Peace out. I want to give a huge shout out to everyone who's become a channel member. It's one of those things where I appreciate every single person who watches my videos, and I mean, that's really where it counts, but for the channel members, they've gone out of their way to financially support me, and I truly appreciate that gesture. It's one of those things when I started channel memberships up on my channel, and I just didn't know if anyone was ever going to do it, so I truly appreciate everyone taking the plunge, taking a leap of trust, and investing in me as a content creator. Truly makes a difference for me each and every month. If you haven't already thought about becoming a channel member, you might want to contribute to the channel, and I do put everything back into the channel to make it the best possible place to watch for Pokemon TCG content. Again, I truly appreciate everyone. Thank you so much. Cheers. I truly appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It means the world to me. And my goal with this channel is to spread my love of the game and knowledge with our entire Pokemon TCG community. If you haven't already, help signal boost this video to other Pokemon TCG fans by liking it, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Hopefully we reach our goals really soon. Check out this recommended video, and have yourself a great day. Thanks.